Hello everyone, it's me, Robert, back for another video. And as you can see, I am wearing the green, which would normally mean it's an auto-assembly video, but it's not really. It's kind of a response video, this, which I suppose is linked to AA. But before I get on to that, talking of auto-assembly, some more news has been announced. My good friend Nick Hardy, who is a brilliant photographer, will be at auto-assembly this year, and he will be having his own Cybertronian photo booth, in which you can be able to take photographs and make it into your own little tech spec. So say if it's just you or a group of you want to take a photograph, and then that can be made into a tech spec. It's quite awesome. And he, as I said, he's a brilliant photographer. So it's cool. It's apparently £2 for the photo to be taken, and then you can either pick it up there as a solid copy for £5, or after the convention you can get it digitally or as a solid copy. And it does look a really great thing to do. I mean, if you have the photo and if you pay for it there, you are entered into a draw to get Masterpiece 13, which you could win. So yeah, it's a fun little thing. Here's a sample of the work with Nick himself as the person in the photo. And as you can see, it's quite a fun little thing to do. I'm definitely going to go over and check it out at AA because, you know, normally what happens is you're on the Sunday, you get there and you've got some money left over, you're not sure what to do. Well, I mean, if you're in that case, go and check Nick out because we have a great thing to keep for AA. Like, if you want to look back in years to come on this year's auto assembly, especially as it's the 30th anniversary, and you can have this little tech spec of yourself as a little reminder. Now, obviously, you can change everything about the tech specs, of the colour, the fraction, the name on it, and it's not going to be just that generic one that I just showed as the sample. So yeah, it's really good. If you're going to AA, I definitely highly recommend you go and check this out. I think it's called Reflector. Reflectors booth, studios I think it is. So yeah, it looks really good. And of course, there will be a link in the description about more information about it. So please check that out after watching this video. And yeah, it should be fun. So, on to the topic of today's video. Now, last week, Stu, the mighty Grimlock, posted something in the Transformers Facebook group, which was IGN had the countdown of their top 25 Transformers, and he put out a challenge to everyone to see what your top 25 Transformers are. So this is my response video to that. And yeah, these are just going to be the top 25 characters that I really like. Now, I'm purely focusing on the characters. It's not going to be based on their toys. It's going to be based on what they've done in terms of in the continuity. So hopefully you enjoy it. And be warned, there are very few Autobots on this list. So to start off this list, we have Heinrad at 25. Heinrad! Beast Mode! Now, I've recently reviewed this bot, and he is crazy in all sense of the word. I mean, he's a time-travelling Tanuki with testicles. What else do you need, really? I was recently asked what my favourite Decepticon was from RID, to which I replied Scourge. However, I really should have said that my favourite Predacon was number 24 on this list. It's Skybite. Skybite terrorise! He's a flying shark that likes to write poems, and he likes to jam out with jazz. That's awesome. At 23, it's Knockout from Transformers Prime.
It was a long drive, Starscream. I'm still picking bugs out of my grill.
Now, I was struggling to find a bot for this position, and I remembered how great the character was in the show. He was one of the few characters in the show that I enjoyed watching, whether that was because of his vanity.
I like the way I look in steel-belted radials.
Or his messed up surgical principles.
I've done plenty of bodywork, Starscream, but I'm better at breaking them than fixing them.
Who knows? Now, I wanted to have a seeker on this list, and as much as I like Starscream, I do prefer the orange, flaming son of a gun that is Sunstorm. Not only does he have a fusion reactor in his chest that allows him to literally burn his enemies to death, but he was hilarious in animated as the suck-up side of Starscream.
Brilliant observation, brilliant. But your genius pales in comparison to the genius of our leader, the original Starscream.
Just missing out in the top 20, it's Overlord at 21.
よし、メガ、合体だ。
了解。
トランスフォーム。合体、オーバーロード。
Now, as much as I like Overlord from Last Stand of the Wreckers, I'm talking more about the character from Master Force. The Deathstron, who gave Jinrai his first real defeat of the show. The con who makes those cloaks from Zone look good. And of course, the Decepticon who took Garrus 9 for his own personal playhouse and chopped Fort Max up into little bits. While we're on the subject of Phase 6s from IDW, there's certainly one bot that you can't leave out. It's that one-man army from Generation 1, who certainly wasn't a ninja in Headmasters. It's Six Shot.
Six Shot! Show 'em what a one-robot army is!
Now, not only was he the first Phase 6 that we saw in IDW, but he completely devastated a planet. And he survived being crushed by Metroplex. Any bot that can do that has to be on this list. At 19, it's a character that shows just how good animated was as a series. It's a character that has gone on to be well loved in the Transformers community. He's not a bot or a con, and he only cares about his bounty, and adding more trophies to his collection. It's the Transformers bounty hunter. It's Lockdown.
You've done enough damage for one night. Now please, step out of the vehicle, sir.
Just one problem. I am the vehicle.
Who are you?
You can call me Lockdown.
Now, as a testimony to the character, he has lived on outside of the series and has appeared in IDW and recently in Age of Extinction, in which he was pretty awesome. Now, Skybite isn't the only RID character on this list. At number 18, it's Scourge.
Transform!
Now, in the show, a protoform scanning mishap involving Optimus led to the creation of this brilliant character. He's a con that has the attributes of Prime, while still retaining his Decepticon programming. His funniest characteristic in the show is his temper, which is both a weakness and a strength, and which is why quite a lot of the Decepticons' plans always fail. Plus, him and Skybite are always trying to get rid of each other, which leads to some great scenes in the series. Now, I like Armada, and I'm not ashamed to say that it had some great characters. One in particular is a con that's quite memorable. That's Thrust.
This is becoming more and more interesting. Transform!
Now, Thrust is a renowned tactician who has one of the coolest introductions of any bot in the show. He's treacherous and always planning to gain ultimate power, and becomes the subject of a lot of jokes in the series because of his cone head. He's a character that's developed so much that he even starts to question whether getting ultimate power is really worth it. Plus, he has one of the best death scenes in the whole of the series.
Galbatron, you can't just leave me here, please! Thrust, if you dare to have dreams of power, you will be consumed by them.
Now, considering I'm a huge Decepticon fan, there is no Megatron in this countdown. However, there is Galvatron.
Megatron? Is that you?
Here's a hint.
Now, one of my favourite scenes from the '86 movie is the reformatting of Megatron into the crazy, unstable and unstoppable bot that is number 16 on the list. Now, not only was he crazy in the original cartoon, but he turned into an undead chaos bringer in IDW, and is one of the most well-remembered characters from Season 3. Plus, he was pretty awesome in the new movie. Coming in at 15, it's the first only comic book character on this list. He's my favourite character from More Than Meets the Eye, and he's leader of the Decepticon Justice Division. It's Tarn. Now, he not only kills his victims by singing music of the right note, but he loves to quote philosophical works by Megatron. Plus, his face is a Decepticon symbol. How can I not like this character? He sums up everything that's good about the Decepticons. And you know what? If I was any bot in Transformers, it would probably be him. Generation 2 gave us a lot of bad things. Bright colour schemes, pointless gimmicks, and some really bad TV adverts. However, it did give us a great character. That being the empire-building yellow Cyberjet, Jahaxus. Now, he first appeared in the G2 Marvel comics, which is one of the few Marvel comics I actually have, and I love it. He is as ambitious as Megatron, and as brilliant-minded as Preceptor. Now, his main appearance is in IDW as the crazed scientist that was part of Nova's crew. And not only did he create Monstructor, but he also created the unstable RC. At 12 and 13, it's Run Amok and Runabout.
We're two of the hardest charging dudes the Decepticons got, and what does Galbatron give us? Duty on this dinky planet.
Who are quite obscure characters, but I like them. From their unique accents to the fact that they appeared in one of my favourite Generation 1 episodes, which is Ghost in the Machine. Plus, they were the first Decepticons that we saw in Infiltration, and they played a big role in the early comics. I only wish they weren't killed off so early. Now, just missing the top 10 is the demigod himself, the planet eater that is Unicron.
For a time, I considered sparing your wretched little planet Cybertron. But now, you shall witness its dismemberment.
Now, I've said in an earlier video that the main reason I like Generation 1 is because of the opening scene of the '86 movie, in which you see this thing completely devour an entire planet and rip it to shreds. Now, not only did that make me fall in love with the film, but also the character. Now, the fact he was voiced by Awesome Worlds just adds to the awesome. Not only that, but he created the Minicons in Armada and resurrected Starscream in Generation 1.
Unicron, if you want the connection made, you better give me a new body now!
You shall have it.
I live again!
At 10, it's the only combiner on this list. Now, some people may like their Devastators or their Superions, but for me, there's only one Gestalt that should be here. That's the powerhouse that is Bruticus.
Combaticons! Merge into Bruticus!
Bruticus angry.
Now, I love the fact that he combines from an array of different military vehicles, and that when he's in his combined form, the minds of the Combaticons work for one singular goal, that being pure destruction. Plus, his level in Fall of Cybertron was pretty awesome. Now for the last Autobot on the list, and the only one that's in the top 10. He's a soldier to the core, stubborn, and also a headmaster. It's that green tank that is Hardhead. Now, he's my favourite Autobot because he hasn't got time for talk. If he shoots you, you either shoot back or die. It's as simple as. He wasn't a main character in the Rebirth, but his role in IDW is another reason why I like him. He not only survives being shot in the head by Nightbeat, but he crash lands a ship on top of Galbatron in Chaos. Well, I suppose it's better than being crushed by an iceberg, hey? At 8, it's the ever-loyal and competent second-in-command, that is, Cyclonus.
Cyclonus, the warrior, and his armada.
Ah, you thought I was going to say Starscream, didn't you? No, I prefer Cyclonus. No, I prefer Cyclonus, as he's not only dedicated to destruction, but he has honour, something that not many other cons have. He's also been developed into a great comic character, currently being a member of the crew on the Lost Light, in which he's formed a strange friendship with Tailgate, and was the only one to get the better of Starsaber. Plus, when he showed up in animated, he rocked, and we still want a toy of that. Now for a con that has 3 modes, which he uses to sow confusion into his enemies before he strikes. He's the one who transports the Decepticons around the galaxy, but don't be fooled, he's still dangerous. It's Astro Train.
Huh? Track 9 shows an unscheduled train. And there's no engineer! I declare this to be Astro Train headquarters!
Now he is my favourite triple changer, as he not only transforms into a train, but also a spaceship. Plus, he gets one of the best scenes in All Hail Megatron. Anyone ordered a train? Now, just missing out in the top 5, it's the Emperor of Destruction, and one of the best characters in Victory, it's Deathsaurus. Forget your Megatrons, this Deathstron is a savage and cruel dictator who spread terror throughout the universe. In the show, whenever he and Starsaber lock blades, you're always treated to a great battle. And he not only beats Starsaber to an inch of death several times throughout the show, but he does something that Megatron should have done a long time ago.
一体何を私がだが今日はそうはいかん。一度本気で俺に忠誠を尽くす気にはならないか。大抵私は今までも二度同じことを言わせるな。俺の新しい計画を最後まで本気でやり遂げろと言っているのだ。死を選ぶか生を選ぶか。
At 5, it's my favourite character from Armada. It's Sideways.
Transform!
Now Sideways in the show is a double Minicon combining headmaster that plays both the Autobots and Decepticons throughout the show. In fact, it's not until near the end of the show that we find out that Sideways not only works for Unicron, but is an extension of him. Now he also gets the best scene in the show, in which he mocks Prime for fighting for peace, when in fact, Prime just loves war. He's a memorable character for me, and one who I think summarises everything that was good about Armada. Just missing out in the top 3, it's a con man, an opportunist, and a hustler, or as he would put it, an entrepreneur. It's that dealing Combaticon, it's Swindle.
Good evening, General. El Presidente.
Now, out of all of the Combaticons, Swindle is my favourite, as he sees the Autobot-Decepticon war as merely an opportunity to make profit. In fact, in the show, he even sells the remains of his fellow Combaticons for a sweet fee, something that carries on today in the comics, and led to the creation of his animated counterpart, a character that I've already said was the best in the show, in my opinion.
I needed that.
At 3, it's the Headmaster, who on more than one occasion has taken command of the Decepticons. His partner is Zarak, leader of the Hive. He blew up Cybertron in the Headmasters. He survived decapitation at the hands of Fire Guts Jinrai, and became a pirate in Transformers Zone. It's the one and only Scorponok.
It will take more than your pathetic little dance to stop Scorponok!
Now I not only think that Scorponok should be in the top 3 because of those points, but because in the Marvel comics he took out Ratbat, formed an alliance with Prime to stop Unicron, and gained his respects in his last moments of life. But to top that all off, he invented the binary bonding process in IDW. For me, he shows that there was some good things to come out at the end of Generation 1. So, just missing out on the top spot, It's the Decepticons' communication officer, the one bot that is the icon of the Generation 1 Decepticons. It's Soundwave.
Soundwave, playback Laserbeak's findings. As you command, Megatron.
Soundwave is not only loyal, but he's a master spy. Cries and screams are music to his ears, and he has a whole legion of cassettes in his chest, waiting to follow his command. He's not only the first main Decepticon that we see in the cartoon, but you also get some of the best lines in the '86 movie.
Soundwave superior, Constructicons inferior.
And he was even rebuilt in the Headmasters. Now he's also a great character in the comics, starting off as a wandering IDW, turning Ratbat into his own personal slave, and surviving being shot in the head by Prime. He's a bot that most people associate the original Transformers with, and for that reason, he's at number 2. Well, if you know me, you'll know who this is. It's a character that I've pledged to get every single toy incarnation of, and it's the only character that I get fanboyish over. It's that one-eyed purple monster that is Shockwave.
Megatron! Planet Cybertron to Megatron! Are you there, Megatron?
It can't be! Shockwave, guardian of Cybertron!
Megatron, leader of the Decepticons!
Now for me, Shockwave is the best character in the continuity. Why? Well, let me give you some reasons. Firstly, his every action is ruled by logic, and he sees emotions as a weakness and a distraction. He's even more powerful than Megatron, and has, on multiple occasions, taken command of the Decepticons after defeating him. He is loyal to an extent, and was left in charge of Cybertron during Megatron's absence.
Fear not, Megatron. Cybertron shall remain as you leave it.
He is the reason for most of the events in Dreamwave and IDW. He has destroyed all life in the galaxy in an alternative future, in which he was powered by the Zell Quartz. He was brutally shadow played upon, turning him from a corrupt senator into an emotionless killer. He was brilliant in both animated
If you receive this message, know that I am taking matters into my own servos.
and Fall of Cybertron, and even in Dark of the Moon. He's a bot that represents how well Transformers can create characters and develop them into something more, something special. Plus, there's a part of me that's like Shockwave. So there we are, that was my list. Thank you for watching everyone, I hope you've enjoyed it. Please comment below on what your list is, I look forward to seeing them all. Until next time, see you guys.